Okay. So thanks for being here. Can you
It's a
please
privilege.
introduce yourself? Talk a little bit about who you are and your connection to today's event.
My name is George Villon. My connection to the event, a friend of mine from my hometown brought me over here. um, I'm half Mexican, half Filipino, and he is also, and he's from my hometown. He lives here now, and he invited me over, and I'm glad he did. It's awesome to be here.
Where's your hometown?
Brawley, California. It's down by San Diego,
Mm.
east of San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
I did grow up working in the fields and staying in the Filipino camps, not the ones here, but the ones in Oceanside. So I stayed in those houses, those homes from like homes, Filipino camps from age 14 to like 20. Yeah, very interesting time. Very interesting time. The homes, they were from Japanese owned. They were condemned homes, and we were housed. There was a bunch of us in there. Um, it was like I said, they were condemned houses, but you pay $10 a month. You can't beat that, $10 a month, you know. So Pops would take us every year. My father's from the Philippines. He's from Ilocos Sur, um, Barangay San Juan, from Laptin. He came when he was 17 years old. He never went back. He was one of the ones that guy was talking about, but he didn't stay in the camps. He married, and he was very strong. He had me at 50. He was 50 years old when he birthed me, because back then, the way I've been told, in the state of California, if you were brown, you married brown. You're white, black, and black, and so forth, so forth. But Mexicans and Filipinos are the same color, so they let us bada bing, bada boom, you know. So here you go. So my mom was very young. There was a huge age gap. And he was talking about the brother before me, about the mestizos. And where I'm from, there's a city called Nyland. And you were proud to be a mestizo or Filipino. There was a bunch of mestizos there. And they all had the same thing. Young moms were 20 years old, dads in the 50s. I mean, the gap was huge. And it was interesting. I hung out with them during the summertime. In the summers after high school, well, school's done, high school was done. We would, most of the mestizo boys and the dads would take us to Oceanside, which is about a 2 hours drive from where we're from the desert, like right here to the coast, to Morro Bay or whatever it is, right? Pismo Beach. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. So every summer they would take us down there, and the ones from Nyland, I'm from Brawley, so we're like 20 miles away from, we didn't even know each other, and we'd migrate there, and then we'd stay in the Filipino camp. Yeah. And one story I like to share was that one time was my dad, we'd be kicking back, and it's like I said, the roof was falling apart, the house cardboard, and it was pretty rough. It smelled like rice and food, but the fish smell kind of took over everything else. And he would hear this noise. And I said, "What's that, Pops?" We hear it all the time. "Oh, it's mice." "What's that, Pops?" "Oh, it's mice." Okay, Pops, right. One day my kid brother sees the mice. It's a rat about this big as a cat. He tells me, "That's not freaking mice, it's a freaking rat, it ain't no mice." So I thought it was a bunch of little mice running across the roof, you know, but nah, it was a freaking rat. But we lived there, we were happy. It was the funniest thing, we were cool, we were content, except when we went to the town, we were kind of, I don't want to say we were discriminated, we were a different color, it was fine. But it is what it was, and but when we stayed there within our own people, it was awesome. Matter of fact, there's where it was birthed in my heart to go back to the Philippines. I've been going back for a few years now. I love it over there. I love the people. They're some of the best people on the planet. And you know, I say that, how did I say that a second ago? It was cool when we were around each other. You go where the people are so friendly and happy. They don't know they're poor. It's the weirdest thing. I say, what the heck? And they're just so friendly. Everyone just greets you with love. Up where I'm from, Manila's a little bit different. Manila's in cities like Tijuana or Mexicali. Oh man, we're more fast. You know, everything's more fast. But one thing I like to bring out is the strength that we have in our blood. You know, these Manongs, they were in their 70s, running circles on a 15, 16-year-old. They were some of the strongest men. They weren't the biggest cut guys, but they were strong. I'd be out there in the fields 120 degrees in Pure Valley, and my dad's picking up the box, going up and down all day, all day, year after year, year after year, year after year. Come home, caked dirt. His boots are all dirty, smell like, I don't know if you ever worked in tomatoes. You put your hand, you have? You put your hands in there, and all that stuff gets all over your hands, and you turn into like almost a green person, you know, because the I don't know if it's the acid, but if you're in the weeds with tomatoes all day long, it's not like the grapes, a little bit different. I work the grapes too. It gets all over, so you have to wear gloves, right? And I remember when Escondido was working up in the mountains, there was a lot of illegals up there. They were living in the creeks. And I think we learned a lot from them. We thought we were Cadillac-y, man, compared to those guys living in the rivers. The wetbacks, I don't call them wetbacks, man, but they were the paisas, they were out there. And I hung out with them guys, you know, and I go out there and smoke a couple of weeds or whatever, you know, we did, you know, and come back. And I learned from those guys that we had it made. We had it made. Jesus, man, we living in this condemned house. Those boys they have it bad. And where was I going with that? I think I just found out I got ADHD, so I'm traveling all over the place. You go ahead and ask me a question, man.
Yeah. So you talked about growing up in the Filipino camps.
Yes.
Do you remember hearing anything that was going on with the Delano grape strike?
Yes.
And so, what was that like, or how old were you, and what kind of impact did hearing about the strike have on?
The strikes were
were
on TV all the time. In Imperial Valley, we felt it also. The United Farm Workers were very active down there, very active, hugely active. I don't know exactly what happened here, but it was a war zone, to be honest with you. I seen it firsthand. I seen the camps. I seen the movement. And I saw how we were treated, you know. And I saw, you know, one day we were out there in the fields, we're working. One of my friends, he's a white guy, he told me, hey, George, you want to go work tomorrow? Yeah, let's go, you go. And then some people, these guys over there, they're not working. I didn't know exactly how it worked. I only did this 2 days, just disclaimer. I did this for 2 days. So he tells me, let's go. So it's the lettuce, we're working the lettuce. And I don't even know the lettuce knives are about this big, only little bolo knives. So we're cutting, and the UFW surrounds us, you know, and we're looking. They wanted us off the fields, right? So we figured out, so they had the right to what we're doing, you know, and they would charge income and they would back and forth. I mean, I don't know how many there was. There was a lot of them. And I respect them, don't get me wrong. After I learned what their cause was, I learned to respect what they were doing. But at that time, I was 18, 19 years old. I think my daughter wasn't born, so I was 19. And so we're out there, and the foremen that we were working for, they wanted us to fight these guys. At the very end, after we finished all the work, now they want us to fight. I'm looking at it, man, you don't pay me enough to fight these guys, you know? Because we had our knives, come on, you guys got the cuchillos, tenés cuchillos, vámonos. I said, you don't pay me enough to fight these. There's a lot of them. But there was 3 cuadrillas. We had 3 buses. So it was 8 each bus or whatever, each bus like the bus here. So there was a lot of us that were working. There was a lot of, I guess, we would call it strike breakers. We were part of but afterwards I wasn't part of that. You know, just those 2 days. I mean, afterwards, you know, man. So at the very end of that day, our bus left. Now, the buses were, I don't know if you've seen the boxes for lettuce. We cut them up, put them on the windows. They tape them up, duct tape them. They have little holes like this. So all we could see is like this, because they were throwing rocks. It was intense. It was intense. And if you drove your car, they would put spikes all over the road. You have to run so that people wouldn't go. So after we left, next day came back. Apparently they attacked. Something happened. They shot some guys and killed them. So there was a homicide out there in the fields. I said, man, ain't nothing from, you know. They had a right to for the wages to come up. They needed to do this, but unfortunately, that's what happened then. And then, you know, that's one thing that I always remember in my mind. You know, they told me. And then I see later on, yeah. Then I wander off. I was always wondering. I was one of the kids. Like I said, I got this thing. I didn't know until recently that because I don't know if you should share this part of this, but my grandson, a couple of years, about 2 years ago, he tells me, "Hey, Grandpa, I got this, this. That's not normal. You got this. And I do this. You gave it to me." I said, "Nah." So anyways, just recently I started reading up on it. I said, "Dang, I think I do got it," because I've always been hyper, And so when I left after the incident there, I don't even know. I think I ended up in L.A. in San Bernardino. So I've been traveling a lot. I go to the Philippines. I travel up. I've been to St. Louis. I've been to Florida. All over California. So I can't stay put. To date, I can't stay put. So, but I'm sorry, I'm taking it somewhere else.
No. Another question I wanted to ask was about your Mexican and Filipino identity.
Yeah.
What was that like growing up? Did you feel? I mean, it sounds like more recently you've been going to the Philippines. Like, how strong of a connection do you feel like you have with your Mexican side of your identity? Like, how?
That's a great question. That's a very good question. I grew up in the barrio. My barrio was called campo, meaning camp. The side of it was the government camp. It was a labor camp. It wasn't a labor camp. It was just for the Bracero program, when they brought the Mexicans over from across the border. That was called the government camp. And it was projects. That part was really rough. We had it nice. The projects was just nice little houses, but they were still projects. So I grew up with this group of guys. We still today hang out and see each other. And they respected us. We were good. I mean, we were different. I mean, we never, for some reason, we never let one come in our house because we ate white rice and they ate Spanish rice, Our diets were different. But other than that, we were like brothers. As a matter of fact, they are my brothers. Chicanos from over there, my brothers. So, but I've always been, in my heart, when I went to the Filipino camps, I always loved the Filipino lifestyle. Like I said, matter of fact, I want to retire. That's my goal, is to retire over there and stay over there. I like it that much, But the Hispanic part of me is huge. That's it runs in my blood, and so does the Filipino blood. I mean, we're the same people, pretty much, because Spanish were over there for so long, But there were some times that we did find, when we crossed the border, I don't know if I can share this. All the Pinoys, they like to gamble, right? The Filipinos. So they had this place over there, Caliente Turf Club. I don't know if you guys ever been there. It's for horses. You bet on the horses, like whatever you call it, the bookie. I don't know. It's like what's the horses? But they go across. They're not actual horses. It's a big old screen and scoreboards and everything. And everyone's in. It smells like cigars and cigarettes. Hey, in the betting, big old board. Somebody's guys up there marking and who's winning. Hey, it's always in here the races. So you have to. It's about a mile from the border, so you have to walk all the way over there. My kid brother calls it the walk of shame. They didn't treat us good, bro. Some of them, most of them did, but there was a few of them that were just, I think they're ready to spit on us, because we're different. That's only an isolated group. But deep in my heart, most of them, my majority of the raza is good. They're good people. They respected us, but you always get that knucklehead that, oh my God, Pops, we were little kids, pinche Filipino, cabrón, oh, Pops. And they would disrespect us, It was pretty rough. But that was only a few people. I think these guys did something to those people. I'm thinking, what do you guys do to these guys that piss you off? What did you do to piss those people off, Pops, or whoever? Because we all kind of looked like, they all dressed the same hat, they had the same walk, Now, my father was a very hard worker. I mean, he did have some land in Westmoreland, which is Brawley, east of Brawley. And he's farmed 10 acres. And 10 acres of land, and it was squash. And what happened, my understanding, he did good. He was sending money. That's when I go to the Philippines, the people respect me a lot because of my father, because of the money he sent to them. Year after year, he sent them money. $50 a year, whatever it was. And they invested in property, invested in this and that. And they did it, and I go over there, oh, you're Timo's boy, Timoteo's boy. Timoteos, they know me as Timoteo's boy. He's my hero. He's a hero over there. So he farmed, and he didn't go to the war. Like I said, he was born in 1908, had me at 50, right? 1958, I was born. And I think it always bothered him because they told him, this is what he told me, you stay here, farm, support the troops that way, you know. And a lot of Pinoys went. All the Filipinos, they went and fought. They come back one good job is dead job. That was their saying over here at all time, you know. And then I would remember who was talking about at break time, they play Rummy, or whatever. In the evenings after everything's done, they're just kicking back and they're playing Rummy, you know. And I couldn't speak to Ilocano Tagalog at the time. I don't understand it now a little better. And they would always go to the war. They would always talk about the war. I could tell them. And I would see my father in the corner. Like, Pops. You could see it just straining him that he didn't go help his family get assassinated over there, you know. I could see it. He never told me. He never talked about it. I would look at it. And every year you could tell, you could hear it. Eventually, because you'll catch it. Like any language, you listen for key words. What are they talking about? You know, you can see German. You can find in Spanish, Italian. If you look for a key word, even in French, oh, he's talking. You'll catch little words, even in almost any language. Except for I can't Arabic, Chinese, or Mandarin. That's way out. There's no English in it, but a lot of it has Spanish or English. If you're listening to it, you'll catch it. And I'll hear him, and then I could hear one in the corner. Only good job is the job. You know, they were talking about the war again. You know, and they would talk about it. You know, and then my cousin, when I started going back, then my cousin tells me, Donato, a lot of respect. He was chief of police in the province we were from. Highly respected during Marcos's time. Anyways, I don't better not go there. He tells me that when all my other cousin, my cousin Criste goes over there, after he was still a young kid during the war. I think he was like 12, 13. He asks, where's Timo? He tells me this, where's Timo? My dad. You know, because he's the one who's been sending the money, you know. No, wait a minute, all of it. Maybe I'm getting my stories crossed. But somewhere or another, maybe he was sending it when he was a kid. I don't know. And he said, where's Timoteo? And ever since then, I've always had it in my heart to go back there for my father. And I want to retire there and help out the people from that province in every way I can. That's where my heart's, and that's where I bleed for that. And a lot of my family says, what's wrong? I never told them the story. Hopefully you guys tell it, but I'm not going to tell it. They'll say, why this guy keeps going? He spends all his money, he goes over there. You know, but I love it over there, man. And then, yeah. Sorry, brother.
No, that's good.
I'm going off left field again.
No, it's great. See, last question is, what does being here in Delano celebrating the 60th anniversary of the strikes mean for you?
Honestly, this is all new to me. I'm here in Delano because of the culture. I heard him talking about how close they are. Over there, it's a little bit different because there's a huge Filipino presence here. And a lot of my people live here. I have family here. I have people from the Mexican side and my Filipino side. And that's why I'm here. And then coming here and seeing everyone just having a good time and celebrating, this event and just uniting the people. The big thing I like to bring out is the strength of our people, both Mexican and Filipino. That's some good blood there. That's some good blood, strong blood. I mean, Caucasian blood, black blood, they're all good, but the Filipino blood is strong blood. It's good blood. It's strong. You should be proud to have that strength. I remember when I lived in Oregon for a few years, and there was one of my buddies. He would try to degrade me because I wasn't, his color. But I never want anybody, I don't care what color you are, black, white, pink, yellow, be proud of who you are. Be proud of the skin that God gave you. You look in the mirror, thank you, Lord, for that color. And then just being proud of who you are and the strength that we have in our bloods. Filipinos have a tendency of living a long life, a long, strong life, sexy life. Yeah, I tell people, yeah, you're Mexican, Filipino, they say Flipsicano, or I say Flipsicano or Mexipino. When I'm cool, I say, I'm a Hispanic Islander. So I guess.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for
Appreciate
having
you.
me.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
thank
this
you.
is great.
It was good to get that off my chest. It's been